Good evening, everyone. Hi, it's 6:30 and we're going to start our meeting tonight. I, Jacqueline Colton, President of the Duncanville ISD Board of Trustees, call this meeting of the Duncanville Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of trustees is present, that the meeting has been duly called, and that notice of the meeting has been posted according to the Texas Open Meetings Act. We will now move to opening ceremonies. Trustee Vera Cruz will lead us in the invocation as we start the opening ceremonies.
Thank you, Madam President. Please bow for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I pray for resilience over the return of our Duncanville students, staff, and leadership teams. School isn't always easy. You know this, Lord, but we praise you for you are ever-present help in times of hardship. Heavenly Father, we ask you to pour out your strength and reminders of your peace and power on every child each day when they face a hard subject, have a problem with friends, get in trouble, or simply feel fatigued from school in general. We pray that you will uphold them with your mighty hand and restore them. Stay present with students and educators when days are tough. I pray they are able to rest well when they return home from school, and that you will restore them for the next day. You are our sustainer. Please sustain our students and staff through the year. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Trustee Vera Cruz. Please join us in the pledge to the U.S. flag and the Texas flag.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. We will now move on to the superintendent's report, and I will turn this meeting over to Dr. Gorey.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and good evening, Madam President, as well as all of our other trustees and everyone assembled here today. It is my pleasure to present to you the superintendent's report for this August 18th, not October yet, but August 18th, 2025 school board meeting. I'd certainly like to start off by speaking about our wonderful convocation that we recently had. Convocation 2025 was a success. Each year, we look forward to bringing all of our staff together in one place to kick off the school year with energy and excitement. This year, we were inspired by our keynote speaker, George Quarles, and guided by our host and MC, Lady J. We're especially thankful to our sponsors for their continued support in making this celebration happen. A special thank goes out to our communications and public relations departments for coordinating this event. We appreciate the hard work and dedication that goes into making convocation possible. Your efforts were certainly not unnoted. Well, just about a week ago, we had the opportunity last Wednesday to welcome back our students to school. I had the pleasure of visiting several campuses on the first day of school, kicking off the morning, of course, at the bus barn to welcome our drivers and wish them a very successful route that day as well as for the year. It was exciting to see several of our new buses purchased with funds from our 2023 bond. Those buses are now on the road for the first time and filled with students. From there, I had an opportunity to go to Duncanville High School to welcome the Panthers back to another fantastic school year. I also had an opportunity to visit Hastings Elementary, Kennemer Middle School, Harding Elementary, Reed Middle School, and Pace High School. I want to recognize the teachers and the staff and administrators who made this first day memorable for our students. I saw countless photo opportunities, music, and anyone that saw me knew I got a lot of pleasure out of the confetti, and most importantly, the smiles on our children's faces. I will also say that just extra thank you to our entire operations team as well as our partners in our work around our bond dollars. We had several schools that went down to the wire, but everyone truly worked hard to make the best environment for our students. Another, of course, special shout out to the staff at the TLC who assisted with our new student enrollment during the first week of school. Your dedication to ensure our students are enrolled and ready to learn is greatly appreciated. It is that time of the year. We're kicking off several of our athletic seasons. As we kick off a new school year, many of our athletic programs recently have begun to spring into action. Over the weekend, our volleyball team hosted the Tournament of Champions, which featured 32 teams. The Lady Panthers dominated the competition and brought home the championship title. Congratulations to the Lady Panthers. Panthers tennis began its season earlier this month and will face Skyline High School on August 19th. Football season is officially beginning this Thursday with a home scrimmage, followed by our first home game against South Oak Cliff on Friday, September 5th. Come out and show your Panther pride under the Friday night lights. Our cross-country team also opened its season at the Woodhouse Invitational in Waxahachie this past weekend. Next, they'll compete at the James Smith Invitational in Midlothian on August 28th. For further information about our athletic schedules, please feel free to visit DuncanvilleISD.org. Best of luck to all of our athletes and our athletic programs, and as usual, go Panthers. The Student Services and Campus Support Department hosted several summer events to assist families with enrollment. On January 4th, 2025, from 9 to 2 p.m., we hosted a one-day event, open house open to all families. From June 9th to June 26th, the Enrollment Center was open Monday through Thursday from 8 to noon to provide additional assistance with students with the registration process. From July 7th to July 17th, the Enrollment Center extended its hours from 8 to 5 to provide additional support, again, to families that were in need. On August 5th, we had a very exciting event when we hosted our one-day event for families to receive assistance in enrollment, as well as free backpacks, vaccines, and eye exams. Finally, from August 13th to August 15th, a temporary enrollment center was established specifically for new to the district students. During this 3-day period, we enrolled 646 new students. Meanwhile, campuses manage the enrollment process for our returning students. As of the end of today, August 18th, the district enrollment stood at 95.38% of what we have projected, and currently we have 10,561 students enrolled. We believe we will very soon hit our projection for what we should have in our schools this year. A shout out again goes to all the team members in the Student Services and Campus Support Department for your assistance with these events and helping ensure both returning and new students were successfully enrolled. Thank you for all that you do. That does conclude our superintendent's report for this month. And again, go Panthers.
Thank you, Dr. Goree, for your report, and thank you and your staff for making the preparations that you've made and for implementing another successful start of school. And we're looking forward to greater and greater progress in this year.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We will now move to recognitions, and I will be turning the meeting over to Mrs. Pam Brown.
Greetings, Board President Colton, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Gorey. Tonight, I would like to invite Ms. Lucretia Newton to come to the podium. We are pleased to welcome Ms. Lucretia Newton as the new Director of Assessment and Accountability for Duncanville ISD. With over 20 years of campus and district instructional leadership experience, Ms. Newton brings a deep passion for student success and a proven ability to strengthen teaching and learning and organizational systems. She earned her master's degree in special education, gifted and talented from Northeastern State University, and her bachelor's degree in math and science elementary education from the University of Tulsa. She also holds a principal certification from the University of Texas at Arlington and multiple teaching certifications. Ms. Newton has served in a wide range of leadership roles, including executive principal in Greenville ISD, where she successfully turned around a struggling campus by improving climate and culture, rebuilding parent and community engagement, and maintaining strong academic achievement. She has also served as the Director of Professional Learning in Greenville ISD, Coordinator of Instructional Data in Crowley ISD, Coordinator of Secondary Math in Everman ISD, and most recently as an Administrative Specialist for School Improvement with Region 13, where she coached campus leaders and supported statewide school improvement initiatives. We are confident that Ms. Newton's expertise and leadership will be a tremendous asset to our students, staff, and families. Please join us in welcoming her to the Duncanville ISD family. We look forward to the positive impact that she will make across our campuses and our community. Thank you, Ms. Newton.
Ms. Brown, if I could add one thing to that too, we're also welcoming her home as that her first teaching assignment in the state of Texas was right here in Duncanville. So welcome home, Ms. Newton.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, we do not have any communications from citizens regarding an pending agenda item. So we will now move into closed session. Thank you. We are now back from closed session and we'll continue with our agenda items. So we will now move to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we approve the consent agenda items as printed. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Please cast your vote electronically. Motion passed 7-0. We will now move to the action agenda, item A, Code of Conduct, with the presenter, Mr. Graham.
Greetings, Madam President Colton, to all other trustees, and to Dr. Goree. Tonight, we will present the updates in addition to the 2025 Student Code of Conduct of Duncanville ISD. There were many additions to this year's Code of Conduct, and tonight's presentation will be presented by our Executive Director of Student Services, Mrs. Tawana Hudson.
Good evening, President Colton, members of the board, Dr. Goree. Tonight I'll provide with you an overview of our Student Code of Conduct for the 25-26 school year, along with some notable changes that we'd like you to be aware of. Each year, we revise the Code of Conduct to ensure alignment with state law, reflect best practices in student discipline, and maintain consistent expectations across campuses while keeping student safety and positive culture and climate at the forefront. This year's updates include several key changes. The first I'd like to share with you is about e-cigarette infractions. In prior years, any e-cigarette use or possession regarding of content required mandatory placement in a disciplinary alternative education program. For the 25-26 school year, if the device does not involve marijuana or THC, a DAEP placement is no longer mandatory. Campuses may instead assign an in-school suspension or other appropriate interventions. Additionally, there's been a change in our in-school suspension limits. The previous 3-day cap on ISS placement has been removed. Campuses now have flexibility in placement length, but a formal review must occur at least every 10 days to assess whether the placement should continue. Personal communication devices have been a hot topic around the state of Texas. As you've heard during policy review, the use of personal communication devices such as cell phones is now prohibited during the instructional day unless specifically authorized for educational purposes or as a part of an IEP. This change reflects the requirements of House Bill 1481, which the district will be implementing this school year. Campus administration has already received guidance on storage options, parent pickup procedures, and consistent consequences for infractions to ensure uniform enforcement across all schools. And last, anti-Semitism as a conduct violation. Behavior motivated by anti-Semitism is now explicitly listed under mistreatment of others to provide clear language and consequences for this type of conduct. I want to go back to our House Bill 1481 to let you know that we have provided a dedicated website to our families and community so that if they had any questions about the implementation of House Bill 1481, they could clearly see what our frequently asked questions we've received, what the answers to those questions are, and to get the expectations and consequences for usage on campuses. And I'm happy to report that we've been in school for 4 days now, and we've had very minimal problems with House Bill 1481 implementation. These updates will help us to ensure that our student code of conduct remains clear, enforceable, and equitable across all campuses, while also reflecting the current law and best practices for school discipline. At this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? There being none, I would like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we approve this agenda item. Please cast your vote electronically. Okay, unanimously approved, 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now move to action item B, competitive sealed proposal for RFP number 24-25.017, Clint Q. Smith Early Learning Academy. Thank you, Ms. Zamora.
Good evening, Madam President, trustees, and Dr. Gorey. Our bond committee recommended and the voters approved Bond 2023, which included the renovation and the repurposing of Smith Elementary into a choice campus, Clint Q. Smith Early Learning Academy. To complete the renovations, the district first solicited contractor proposals on June 17th, 2025, and reposted the solicitation on June 24th, 2025, as purchasing guidelines dictates. The request for proposal 2425.017 was issued as a competitive sealed proposal and included a non-mandatory pre-proposal conference that was held on June 25th, 2025. The conference was to review the project scope and details. Completed proposals were submitted prior to the closing deadline of 2 p.m. on July 15th, 2025. The district received 8 completed proposals from general contractors, which were then evaluated by the district staff. The competitive seal proposal evaluation summary can be found on page 141 of the board book. Based on that evaluation, Nash Industries Incorporated was determined to provide the best value for the district. Their proposal came in $3.7 million under the estimated renovation budget for Smith. Also in the board book, on page 142, is a letter from architecture firm Huckabee. The letter includes the proposed cost, including alternates, which are providing new outdoor play area and fencing, paint roof fascia at the main building, replace roofing over building 3, which is the gym. It is recommendation of the administration that the board consider and take possible action to negotiate and to enter into agreement with Nash Industries for Clint Q. Smith Early Learning Academy. Be happy to address any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? Yes, Trustee Fahey.
Thank you. It's just a builder contractor term. The fascia, like at Smith, is that brown metal-looking stuff that's facing west?
It's whatever's facing the street. Yeah, whatever the metal that faces the streets.
And it's going to be painted? Yay, thank you.
Yes.
Are there any additional questions? Can I get a motion?
Sure. I make a motion that the board bless the recommendation and the competitive sealed bids for Nash Industries Incorporated to have the bid on Smith.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we negotiate and enter into an agreement with Nash Industries Incorporated for Clint A. Smith Early Learning Academy. Please cast your vote electronically. Thank you. It was unanimously approved. We will now move to action item C, Duncanville High School Shine Performing Arts Center and Alexander Auditorium upgrades renovations.
Good evening again. Madam President, trustees, and Dr. Gorey. As part of the Bond 2023 updates to Duncanville High School, we're bringing forward a proposal to upgrade the outdated systems and equipment at Shine Performance Hall and Alexander Auditorium. The scope of the work includes replacing the sound and video projection systems, along with stage rigging and curtains at both Shine and Alexander. In addition, lighting systems will be upgraded at Shine Performance Hall, Alexander Auditorium, and the Black Box Theater. Because these spaces are in frequent use, the project will take several months to complete as the work is scheduled around events throughout the year. Mr. Paul Doucet, our Director of Fine Arts, was instrumental in developing the schedule. AV Pro is the recommended vendor. They have been pre-vetted, hold contracts through buy board purchasing cooperatives, and are already familiar with our current systems, having maintained them for several years. Therefore, tonight we recommend the board consider and take possible action to authorize negotiations and enter into agreement with AV Pro for Duncanville High School Shine Performing Arts Center and Alexander Auditorium upgrades and renovations. Amy Jackson from AV Pro is here, along with Mr. Doucet, representatives from LAN, and we are here to answer any questions you may have.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we ever replaced the curtain in that building?
To my knowledge, I don't know.
I bet you Amy would know.
Amy? Pardon me? The curtains that they've been replaced at
They were replaced, they were installed 2005, I believe.
2005. Thank you.
Something.
Are there any other questions? Trustee Fahey?
Just a comment. I'm just so happy to have the AV Pro located here in Duncanville. Been here and a great part of our community. Good to see them being involved here.
Okay, are there any additional? So I have a question. So this procurement is off of buy board?
Yes, so they are part of the buy board purchasing cooperative.
Okay, was it a negotiated price?
So we do have you'll see, we do have a quote along with the contingency. So those are things that, in case there's unforeseen conditions, we can negotiate. If something comes up, we then negotiate the cost for it. But it would be covered under the owner contingency.
All right, thank you. There being no further questions, I am ready to entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we enter into an action to negotiate and into the agreement with AV Pro for the Duncanville High School Shine Performance Arts Center and Alexander Auditorium. Sorry.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second that we approve action to negotiate and enter into an agreement with AV Pro for the Duncanville High School Shine Performing Arts Center and Alexander auditorium upgrades. Please cast your vote electronically. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Ms. Zamora.
Thank you.
We will now move to action item D, affiliation agreement with Abilene Christian University with Mrs. Brown.
Greetings, Board President Colton, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Gorey. I am going to present the affiliation agreement, the clinical affiliation agreement with Abilene Christian University. This agreement will formalize our partnership with ACU, or Abilene Christian University, to host dietitian interns for hands-on clinical training inside the district. It is a 3-year term agreement with the option to terminate early if needed, and there is no financial cost to the district. ACU will prepare and supervise the dietitian interns. They will ensure that they are certified and insured, and they will complete background checks, including drug tests if we require them to do so. The interns are required to follow all district policies and procedures, and the university will ensure that they make students aware of that. Some of the responsibilities of the district include providing dietitian interns with the meaningful clinical experiences, resources, and workspaces while orienting them to the Duncanville ISD environment. And then we also maintain control over the safety and operational decisions. Some of the benefits to our district include strengthening our ties to higher education, supporting the future workforce of dietitians in the district, enhancing our child nutrition services for students at no cost to the district, and then again, we also retain the authority to end the participation if needed. Are there any questions?
Trustee Martin?
That last thing just surprised me. Enhances nutrition services without added cost.
Well, because it's like, Board Trustee, it is like having an extra employee. Our current dietitian got promoted to the child nutrition director, and so it's a benefit to have an added dietitian on staff to support the campuses and the child nutrition department as they're getting their intern hours with no cost.
And you know, kind of where my brain's been, my mind was thinking diagnostician.
Oh, no. Dietitian, yes.
Just don't listen to me, just,
It's more fun to eat.
sorry.
So how many college students will we have?
Right now, we're just projected to have one, but of course, this could grow over time, as we build on the partnership.
Are there any further questions? Do I have a motion to approve the affiliation agreement with Abilene Christian University?
So moved.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second that we approve this agenda item. Would you please cast your vote? Okay, so thank you. The motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Mrs. Brown. So next item is the bond update, and, Okay, so the next item is actually 8E, affiliation agreement with University of Texas at Arlington, and with Mrs. Brown. Thank you.
Good evening again, Board President Colton, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Gorey. I am presenting a second affiliation agreement, except this time it is with the athletic department and the University of Texas at Arlington. This MOU establishes a formal partnership with UTA to host athletic trainer interns at our facilities. These interns will gain hands-on experience working under qualified supervision with our athletic trainers. The agreement runs for 5 years, but can be ended earlier if needed, and there is no cost to the district. Some of the responsibilities of the university include ensuring that interns are well prepared before placement, providing faculty oversight, coordinating closely with our district liaison, and working with our athletics department. They will also manage the evaluation process and remove any intern who fails to meet our standards or violates our policies. District responsibilities include giving interns access to appropriate facilities, equipment, and experiences. We will designate a licensed athletic trainer or liaison, as they define it, to supervise their work, to ensure compliance with, and that person will ensure compliance with all licensing and accreditation requirements. And they will provide the intern with the orientation to our policies and our procedures. Benefits to the district include connecting us with one of the state's top athletic training programs, with a neighboring, with a partner university not too far from us, helping to develop future professional athletic trainers, and strengthening the services that we provide for our student athletes. And again, there is no financial impact, and we retain the ability to end the agreement or our participation in the program early if needed. I'm sorry. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, we currently have our own student trainers. Will this in any way impact their learning or their performance?
No, this will not impact their performance. And of course, the student trainers are working closely with our licensed athletic trainers, so they'll just also be working together as a team, but this will not impact student athletes being able to help out as trainers.
Want to make sure our kiddos got taken care of.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Are there any additional questions? So I have a question. So how many college students will we have?
Right now, we're projected to have one as well with this program, but again, it's the start of a partnership. This is going to continue for 5 years, this agreement, and so hopefully over time, it will continue to grow and build from here. But this is a good start, that we have one candidate for each.
And what level student?
So these are students near the end, near graduation at the university level. So they're near completion of their program. This is just kind of the last phase before they are able to, obtain the license of their own. So getting these clinical hours, almost similar to student teaching. You've done most of your coursework. You're just doing that internship before you finally get your educator's license, similar to that. But they're near the end.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So there being no further questions, we're ready to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we approve the affiliation agreement with the University of Texas at Arlington. Please cast your vote electronically. Thank you. That item was unanimously approved. Now, we're ready for the bond update with Ms. Zamora.
Good evening again, Madam President, trustees, and Dr. Gorey. So many months have passed, and a lot of construction and bond expenses have occurred. And after last week's start of school, our students and staff have begun to reap the benefits of the $170 million investment from you, the board, and our community of voters. Tonight, we're here to provide an update on how the funds are being utilized. You'll hear from our partners at Lockwood, Andrews, and Newnham, also known as LEN, and our Executive Director of Technology. You're also going to see pictures today that were taken late July, early August. There was more progress that's taken place since those pictures were taken. And we'll begin with our new buses. So the bond committee allocated $7 million for our new buses. Pictured here are some of the latest buses you approved. To date, we have on site 30 new buses, 15 from last summer, that arrived last summer and 15 that arrived this summer, along with general education buses and 10 new special needs buses. In the next year, we anticipate the arrival of the final 2 14-passenger buses. To continue with updates, I'm going to turn it over to Angel Silva from LAN.
Good evening, Board President, trustees, and Dr. Gori. In our bond update today, we have in our first slide Daniel Elementary. Picture in the left, we have the cafeteria refresh, includes new paint, ceilings, light fixtures. Picture on the right, we have one of the classroom completed. We did architectural refresh in all of the classroom in Daniel, and that includes new paint, ceilings, LVT, and light fixtures. On the second slide, we have Harding Elementary. Picture on the left, we have one of the classrooms that has been completed at Harding, include new paint, ceilings, LVT, rubber base, and marker board. Picture on the right, one of the restrooms that has been renovated in Harding Elementary School. At Bear Middle School, the architectural refresh includes new LVT, picture on the left, and the new carpet that has been installed in the library. Reed Middle School, mostly all the architectural refresh was LVT in the entire campus and carpet in the library. Kennemer, in the Banhole courtyard, we replaced the old pavers with the new concrete and power wash the surface. Picture in the right is the restroom that has been renovated. All the restroom at Kennemer, except I believe for one restroom, got new ceramic tiles, plumbing features, sinks, and toilet partitions. Before I pass this to my partner, Kevin Simon, I just wanted to say thank you for all my principals. When I saw them over here tonight, I was believing that I believed that everybody was here to cheer me up. It took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we just say thank you from LAN for your patience and being with us like every night before the school starts. So thank you for everyone.
Good evening, President Colton, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Gori. I was involved with the other 5 kind of schools that had more minor renovations to them. The first you'll see is Alexander. On the left is a typical classroom. We did some upgraded floors and just kind of an architectural refresh. We did some painting and stuff in the corridors. And let me see. At Bill Hart's, it's kind of the same type of scope. We redid the flooring in almost 90% of the school. On the left, you see a classroom. On the right, you see a computer lab. Then at Fair Meadows, you have the admin areas that got new carpet and a paint and refresh in the gyms. And at Hyman, you have the classroom refresh and the library got a new carpet. And at Merrifield, on the left is a cafeteria, and the right is the gym, kind of a refresh paint, and just a total update architectural refresh of the projects. So, and I want to express too that thank the principals, just like Angel did, for all the help they've given in coordination and actual patience over the summer. Just then be able to move around construction, and I know it was a challenge, but I think it all turned out great. So I'm going to turn it over to my friend, Mr. Kumar Hall. He's going to.
Good evening, President Colton, Board of Trustees, Dr. Gori. I was involved with the high school addition and renovation and the portable complex. The photo you're seeing is the foundation. It's in progress. The piers are completed. The grade beams are in progress. They have accomplished quite a bit. They worked over the weekend, so it's moving along fairly decent. We're working in next to the existing building M. The next one, this is another progress photo. Again, this was taken right around the first week of August. They've made a lot of progress since then. This is the interior of Building M, the former 9th grade and now CTE classes. This is moving along pretty well. They're a little bit ahead of schedule, and these walls are now already have drywall, and the painter is ready to start. So this would be the new CTE. Some of the sections from Building J will come right here. This is our portable complex. It opened, and we welcomed the new students who came. The first day we were there, we were guiding the students how to get to the new places because it was a brand new campus and a brand new building for them. And the teachers, we got them settled the day before, 2 days. They did an outstanding job. Some of the teachers literally had only 24 hours and they did everything to make that happen. So all 29 teachers were ready to do that. Complex was fully functional. We're still doing, there's a lot of, as you notice, there's a construction going on right across the fire lane. So there's a lot of dust. We have implemented the sweeper, so we sweep every day at the end of the day. But there's still dust, and we're trying to clean up as much as possible at the end of the day so the students don't track. Again, the custodians come in the evening and clean the restroom, clean the entire complex. The bathrooms are functioning. This is Duncanville ISD. These are the suites inside. There is a counselor suite, there is an AP suite, and these are the restrooms. And I will turn it over to Mr. Malone.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Gorey, members of the board. I'm pleased to announce that as of the Friday before the students came back, all of our panels have been distributed to all the classrooms except for the high school, which that will begin in about 2 weeks. That's going to be a little bit ahead of schedule by almost a year. We have had training for all the teachers. You can see the picture on the left is where we stage them and before we put them into the classroom. The picture on the far right is the vendor bringing them into the building, and then the picture in the middle is one of our training sessions. All the teachers got an opportunity to have a trainer that came in from out of state. They spent about an hour and a half per session to train, and they all got good hands-on training before they were turned loose with their boards in their classroom. So that training is ongoing. They have a button on each one of the panels that if they run into a snag, they can hit the guru button. A live guru comes on, walks them through whatever their issue they're having. Also, every teacher, this is more pictures of the different trainings that we did, but every teacher in the district has now received their new device, including all the teachers at the high school, which is a year ahead of schedule. We just felt that all teachers needed to have the new devices and not have to wait. Some teachers would have new ones, some teachers wouldn't, and we didn't want any animosity, so we thought it would be a good idea to let all teachers have them, and then we can start training and working with them. So we'll have the rest of the boards coming in, and we'll be putting those out at the high school around the end of the month, and we should have all classrooms with a new panel by our fall break. So with that, I appreciate the time.
Where can we get one of those guru buttons?
I wish I could hand them out to everybody because it sure would be nice. Thank you.
We're happy to answer any questions from either myself or many of our presenters tonight. Yes.
Thank you. Question about the restroom. The pictures of the restrooms at Hardin and Kennemer, are they really going to look like that not have any doors?
They do have, they will have partitions. They have
Oh, good,
partitions
because I
now.
thought I'd missed
No,
out
no,
on something.
That was an early picture. That's why I said that was an early picture, but no, they do have
good.
partitions.
I do
Yeah.
think it's a point of just kind of one of the funnies is that we did have a delay in our doors, and we actually had to borrow doors from a neighboring, I guess, district that's on the north side of town, just so we could get, because they had a project that was progressing well. So we do play well with our neighbors, and you know, we were certainly not going to open school without those dividers in the restroom. But they went in at was it Sunday?
It was the last.
Yeah, last
Yep.
minute.
Yep, we took some from we borrowed from Brandenburg and Smith. We
Yeah,
made
we did. We
it,
pulled.
they made it happen. They made it happen, yes.
Yes, trustee Payton.
One more question about carpets. You know, at one time there was a controversy about no more carpets because they had lice or that sort of thing, the disease thing. Are these carpets nowadays, are they the kind that you can remove and replace like a little square?
Yes,
Okay.
we did carpet tiles pretty much everywhere. We did carpet
Okay.
tiles, yep.
Are carpets now lice-proof? I mean, it really was a big deal at one time in elementary schools. Are they treated or?
That's a good question. I'll have to
Don't
find that
worry
out.
about it.
Most of our
I'm
classrooms
not-
have the LVT.
Don't worry
So the
about
only
it.
place-
I'm the
we
only
did
crazy
minimize
person.
where we do have carpet though. We have a lot less carpet, so.
Are there any, are there any further questions or comments? So, Ms. Zamora and LAN and Huckabee and the contractor, we appreciate, you know, everything you all did to make sure that the schools were ready and open for the first day of school, because, yeah, we know that took heroic effort. And even, you know, with the principals and the other staff, you know, working around the clock. So we appreciate that. Thank you. And thanks for you all's report. Okay. The next item on our agenda is the Duncanville ISD accountability update with Dr. Nix.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Gurry. Board, as you know, the state released the 24 and 25 accountability ratings on Friday. So to make sure that we have a good update for the board, I would like to invite our new Director of Assessment and Accountability to provide the board with an update on that accountability, both for 24 and for 25. And once she concludes, I will come to the podium to talk about what we are doing about that data and our next steps. So I would like to bring to the podium Ms. Lucretia Newton.
Right, and one thing before Ms. Newton goes, I do want to certainly welcome her to the district. As you know, we introduced her tonight and super excited about the wealth of knowledge that she brings as it relates to accountability and data. And you know, to be, you know, and quite frankly, to share with the board, this is an area where we can definitely make big impact with how we utilize data to inform decisions that we make daily. So welcome aboard, Ms. Newton.
Thank you, Dr. Gurry. Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Gurry, first I want to say how honored and excited I am to be back home in Duncanville ISD. And also I want to thank you for the time that you've provided tonight for me to present the most current accountability ratings for Duncanville ISD. In this presentation, I'm going to give a brief overview of the accountability systems, as well as a summary of Duncanville ISD ratings and scores.
And one thing, sorry, just excuse me for one interruptions. Trustees, the pages in the presentation are numbered. If you would please make note of your questions, and at the end of the presentation, there will be an opportunity for us to entertain your questions.
For a brief overview, the two accountability systems that we fall under is, of course, state and federal. For the state accountability system, we are under the A through F ratings from the Texas Education Agency. For the A through F ratings, there are 3 domains that are calculated, and those include student performance on the STAR test, college, career, and military ready or CCMR scores, graduation rate, as well as student growth. Under federal accountability, our campuses can be rated as targeted support, additional targeted support, or comprehensive support. This includes student performance by subgroup as well as overall Domain 3 scale score, and that Domain 3 comes from the state accountability. The Texas A through F system, as you know, post-COVID, we have not received ratings very regularly. We have received the last 3 years within the last couple of months, with 2023 ratings being released in April of this year. And then, as mentioned, we got both 24 and 25 ratings last week. The A through F accountability system is based on 3 domains. The first domain is student achievement, which is basically STAR scores, with the exception of our high school. And for the high school, it includes that CCMR score as well as graduation rates. For Domain 2, it is school progress, and it is divided into 2 parts: academic growth, which is basically just a student's growth from one year to the next on the STAR exam, and then relative performance. And with relative performance, our campuses are compared to other campuses in the state who have a similar economically disadvantaged percentage, and they are compared accordingly. And then Domain 3 is closing the gaps. Closing the gaps looks at each of our subgroups, specifically our 2 lowest scoring race or ethnicity groups from the previous year, as well as a group of all students, and then a high focus group, which includes our economically disadvantaged students, special needs students, emergent bilingual, and migrant students. And they look at those individual student growth and determine if they meet a state-determined target. These targets do change every few years, as there are many interim targets along the way to our long-term target, which will be in the year 2038. Here you can see the district A through F scores for the district and each campus within the district. It is important to note that the district has maintained a C rating. During these post-COVID years, we have had a constant rating, and during these past few years, there have been lots of changes, including a complete redesign of the STAR test. It is given 100% online now, and the criteria has increased. You will also notice here 5 campuses are grayed out. That is because those 5 campuses will not exist in this coming school year, 25-26, as they have previously. With the hard work of the board and the passage of the bond, those intermediate schools have been dissolved. And then Central and Smith are now part of our choice schools for the 26-27 school year. So only those campuses that are not highlighted are the ones that will have those scores this year. Federal accountability includes campuses, again, that are targeted support improvement, additional targeted support improvement, and comprehensive support improvement. A campus is identified as targeted support when 1 or more student groups does not meet those state domain 3 criteria for 3 consecutive years. What we do for those students is we identify the groups that are impacted and the root causes of why they're not achieving at the same rate as their peers. We add actions to campus improvement plans and provide targeted interventions and progress monitoring. A campus can exit targeted support once they meet the state target in that student group. Additional targeted support is when at least one of the groups of students that is already at a campus identified as targeted support falls in the bottom 5% of the Domain 3 scores. So one of the subgroups would fall in the bottom 5%, Those students are identified, or those campuses, as additional targeted support. We would then identify the groups again and root causes, add actions to campus improvement plan, provide stronger interventions and more frequent progress monitoring, and then again, that campus is exited once they meet those state targets. Both of these are locally monitored. Neither one of these are presented to the state. Here are the list of the targeted support and additional targeted support campuses. Next, we have comprehensive support and improvement. Comprehensive support and improvement are campuses. Our campuses are ranked based on, again, that Domain 3 score in order from least to greatest with like campuses. For example, elementary compared to elementary, high school to high school, and so forth. The bottom 5% of that ranking become our comprehensive support and improvement campuses. One thing I want to mention here is that no matter what the scores are, there will always be a bottom 5%. So even if our scores were 80 and above across the state, there's still a bottom 5%. Another way for schools to become considered comprehensive support and improvement is for a high school to have a graduation rate of less than 67%. Here are our identified comprehensive support and improvement campuses. Once a campus is identified for CSI, it requires 2 years of meeting the exit criteria. For 2025, Bill Hart's Elementary did meet the exit criteria as their Domain 3 scores improved to above the 5% cut point. However, they still will remain comprehensive as that is how the system is designed for 1 additional year. At this point, Dr. Nix will come back to discuss next steps.
Board, I'd like to start off by acknowledging the fact that our principals are here today. And although it is a very difficult job to be a principal, each of them stand ready to do the work. I was encouraged today, Dr. Guri has been in classrooms as a superintendent. He has been prioritizing the work that he has been talking about. And as he sets the tone for the district, the principals behind me and the staff follow his example. And so we want to thank the principals because they understand that this is a different and a new day. There's a lot of support, but there's a lot of accountability that comes with that. And so I just want to thank our principals, not only for being here, but I want to thank them for the charge of leading our students, because we have work ahead of us, and this is not talk work, because our students, and I am excited to talk about our next steps, because this is real work that's being led by our superintendent on day 1, and we will follow suit. So I just want to acknowledge our principals and thank them for the hard work. I want to thank them for everything that they are doing to make sure that our students in our community have what they need. Our students deserve better than a C, and you are and we are the ones that can lead them to where they deserve. So thank you for being here. So next steps. I am so excited to talk about 2 areas of next steps. One is support and one is supervision. So when we talk about quality support, it's very difficult to do and to know where you are if you don't have accurate data. I'm so excited just in a short time to have Ms. Newton on board and her team. One of the expectations that I provided her immediately was, number 1, accuracy in our data, and number 2, no matter what assessment we take, we need to know within 24 hours where we are. Principals need to know, staff needs to know, superintendent needs to know. Not only that, within 72 hours, we need targeted reports. So that's not just knowing where we are with our data, we need to know what to do with that data. Our curriculum revisions. Last year, we had a curriculum, but we didn't make adjustments timely. When we saw that the data wasn't trending, or when we heard that there were challenges in our curriculum, we didn't make the revisions and the adjustments that needed to be made timely. So that has been adjusted, and I'm looking forward to that because we need to hear from the teachers that are actually implementing the curriculum. And so we have a process and a system in place now where teachers give constant feedback that's monitored weekly by our coordinators, and they will be meeting with teachers and administrators to make any adjustments that need to be made. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought that was, to make any adjustments that need to be made to the curriculum in real time. Board, it's also been a breath of fresh air working with Sustain Ed. They are, as you well know, as we implement our HChem model, our highly qualified instructional materials, the state has said that we have to partner with an entity to help us with the implementation of that. And we have a great partner. We have been planning now for over 4 months, and it is exciting to see the planning actually taking place, the training of principals, the training of teachers, not only in support, but in observation and feedback, our PLC model, our real-time coaching and modeling, working side by side along them in real-time best research practice models has been great. And then, of course, our intervention, restructuring that. We can no longer have intervention time where we're not doing intervention. And that is what was happening. And so it's not happening that way because we want it to happen that way. It happens that way because we're not monitoring as a system. And so we have metrics in place, number one, to make sure that our time is allocated appropriately for that. That's at the district level. 2, making sure the principals have the resources that they need to do the proper intervention. And then 3, just quite frank, monitoring and holding accountable for what is expected as we go to those classrooms, whether that's win time, whether that's restructuring how we do intervention. We've restructured that intervention model from both only a pull-out model to really a flexible to what the campus needs. And then last but definitely not least, and this list is not exhaustive of all of the things we're doing, but these are the key things. And I cannot stress enough, Board, the importance of having an early literacy plan. I can't stress it enough. We have struggled with our early literacy, and to have the group that we had to develop this district-wide, stakeholder-wide, with the research that we have behind this is exciting because this sets the groundwork. Every principal that we have in elementary has been trained on this. Feedback has been provided, and we are looking forward to the implementation with fidelity, day in and day out, to make sure that our students have what they need. When it comes to quality supervision, using our curriculum is not an option. We have a curriculum, and we need to use it. We are going to make the proper adjustments. We are going to make sure that not only do we have a quality curriculum, but that we are being responsive to the needs of our teachers in that curriculum. The reality is we have too many teachers that they just need the additional support, and we have to give it to them. So many of our teachers are uncertified, and so many of our teachers are stepping into this profession, and they need the guidance. And we have to provide that for them, and we have. For example, we have retooled all of our learning experiences to ensure that they have step-by-step slideshows for every lesson. Well, that's there because we've got to give the roadmap to our teachers to be able to just hit the ground running and then be able to adjust based on that curriculum and monitor that. Training and support for our campus leaders. When it comes to the training and support of our campus leaders, we can't cut corners. And we have to make sure that we have targeted coaching and intervention plans when we see administrators are struggling. Principal supervisors have to not only be in the work, and they are, but we have to make sure that we are holding principals accountable for what is expected. Our data utilization, one of the things that is a focus for C&I this year is data literacy. That means that we don't just have data, we understand what to do with this data. And we have relevant data when we need it. For an example, in the past, we may have had data at the district level, but we weren't tracking at the student level. Not at every single classroom, for every single student, for every single teacher, for every single campus district-wide. Well, that's an expectation moving forward. We need to know what's going on at the student level. There's not an assessment that a student should take where we don't know where they are. There's not an assessment that a student should take where we don't know where teachers are and where teachers are struggling. So working with the data assessment team, we have already developed those trackers at every level, at the Tier 1 District Common Assessment level, that we will be tracking student data. At the Tier 2 iReady data, we will be tracking student growth, that's a Domain 2 measure, at every assessment. And for NWEA MAP, we will be tracking student data. And principals will be expected to keep this and ensure that this is happening on their campus. And we will be expected, and the data assessment team will be expected to monitor that and to support the principals in that work. But we can no longer move forward assuming that students know what they know, and we can no longer move forward assuming that we know where students are. We have to know where every student is, every teacher is, so that we can know what support is needed and where every campus and principal is, which leads me to the last point. And that is the academic readiness team. Dr. Gurry has not only been an example by getting in the classroom, he has brought everyone to the table. The difference this year between this year and last year is, number one, the way that we're using data. We met just last week. Just last week we met. And we spent about an hour as a team just looking at and poring over the data, not just the chiefs. Dr. Gurry brought in the executive director of special education. We brought in the executive director of teaching and learning, brought in the executive director of school improvement, brought in the director of student services, HR. Why? Because we are talking alignment. One of the things that has been a challenge in this district has been alignment, just being transparent. Not that everyone doesn't have great intentions, but our intentions amount to nothing if we're not aligned, if we're not speaking the same language and ensuring the same things in the classroom. So I am excited. I am so excited and so thankful that Dr. Gurry is leading the charge by example, getting everyone to the table, ensuring alignment, and then holding us accountable for that work. So the academic readiness team is a way that we can ensure accountability. Every principal, and this is not new to the principals, but who's at the table, the expectations and the level of accountability and how we support the work will be a little different. But every principal will be responsible for reporting on student achievement, on their goals, on their key performance areas, on those root cause analysis that we know are so important. And we will be around to understand what support is needed, with the expectation being achievement for students. That will take place 3 times a year. And board, that is also in cadence with the updates that will be provided to you, so that not only will our data be accurate, not only will our data be timely, but we are extremely intentional and strategic as never before that I've been in this seat, and led by the work of our superintendent. And it was just, as a last example, it was just today. You know, our superintendent was in the classroom today. And the school doesn't matter, the classroom doesn't matter, but we were in the classroom today and we saw that there was a teacher not using the curriculum today. Now see, this is the first day of school. Well, it's not the first day of school, but you know, the first day of implementation, things of that nature. And if we're already off, it sets the tone for a challenge. And that's not to blame the teacher, but that is to say that we were monitoring, and because we were monitoring, he had a way to communicate, and we had a way immediately to address and support. That's what we're talking about. And as we are in those classrooms and as we are providing the support, and my understanding is that as immediately as he spoke to the principal, they were immediately able to address that. That's the thing we have to ensure. We have to make sure that we're providing those supports. So board, I know I said a lot, but I'd like to, at this moment in time, turn it over to you to ask whatever questions that you may have, and it'll be our pleasure to answer at this time. Oh, I'm sorry. Boy, please forgive me. Please forgive me. There is another, that was the last of my slides. There's another slide that Dr. Gurry is going to talk through, and this is about the cadence of updates to you. So the final slide, Dr. Gurry.
Thank you very much, Ms. Newton, as well as Dr. Nix. And you know, one thing that I will stress, not just to the board, but to our community at large, that this administration has every intention of being fully transparent as we do this work together. This is not something that you do in isolation. This is going to take a collaborative effort of everyone, and there is a space for everyone in our community to play a part in this. I will say, though, that tonight is the beginning of our presentations to the board, and this is a very transparent presentation and an acknowledgement that we have work to do and that we will do that work and that we will certainly see better results when we present this information next year. But as we go along the way, we're offering a proposed meeting on November 3rd where we will do our taper report, which is a legal requirement, but we will also have our beginning of the year data where we will present the board with a look at what that data looks like. Now, if you go forward to February 2nd, 2026, that will be a call board meeting where we will look at our mid-year data. Those assessments will be taken in December, and we certainly want the board to see how we are progressing toward our goals at that time. And of course, June 1st will be our end-of-year data and very possibly some preliminary results as to how we have performed on the STAR test. At every step of the way, we will also continue to update the board on our literacy program and what that implementation looks like. And it is my true belief that when you talk about, as we design this system, we talk about growth, and you can go for growth, but that's not sustainable. We have to also look at our student progress in that domain one, which is how our students are performing on the test, and that's the area that we'll be working towards. Now, if you're to effectively do that, I do believe literacy to be one of the core factors in that. Won't tell you that will change our situation overnight, but if we remain committed to literacy and remain committed to those things that will change student outcomes, we will see successes. But just want to be very clear with the board that we have every intention of being transparent as we work towards our goals. At this time, we would welcome any questions that any of our trustees may have.
Trustees, do you have any questions? I do. Trustee Vera Cruz?
Thank you, Mr. Nix, Dr. Nix, for, is it Dr.? Dr. Nix, thank you. In your presentation, these are the things that I took away, Dr. Nix. Intervention, alignment, and accountability. And I want to look past you to look at the principles of the audience. And I know a lot of you, I've talked to many of you, and I just want to say that I appreciate all that you do. You have been charged now with taking on a new mantle for this new school year. And so I bless you with doing that. But this is a new season, it's a new day. And so I thank you for the team such as Dr. Nix is leading this, and for, yes, Ms. Newton, thank you. In all seriousness, because of the charge that you have, this is our future. We must come together and close the gap. We must attack the literacy problem that we see early on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Vera Cruz. Are there any additional comments or questions? Doctor?
I have a question about the early literacy plan. It looks different than last month.
Yes, ma'am. Last month, what was brought to you, of course, we were working on, the plan is the same, the formatting is different. So we just worked with just reformatting it to look a little bit more professional for the community, that's all.
And I was going through the pictures, and I only saw a picture of you and Ms. Reyes, and I didn't see the pictures of the two ladies that presented last month. And there are plenty of pages in here.
We can definitely fix that and take the one of me off. Absolutely.
Okay, but they presented it. I'm sure that means they did part of the work, and
Absolutely.
I didn't see their faces, and that meant something to me.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for bringing that into the room, Dr. Flowers. And true, we do think it's such a collaborative effort into doing that. And one thing I want to say is that when that charge was presented, I made it clear that it was not to be done in isolation, but that we had to get to the classroom. We had to make that a very collaborative effort. So thank you for pointing that out. And that is a good point.
Thank you. And you mentioned the teachers being held accountable and the principals being held accountable and our new access to data. What support does senior leadership need to be able to also rise to the challenge? What support or training would you say that you guys need?
No, Dr. Flowers, that's a great question, and I would say that in our current situation, and I'm going to reiterate, Dr. Guri is setting an excellent example of what it looks like to lead by example. So in our meetings, he's asked, what do we need? He's bringing people to the table. He is charging us to meet the standard. So at this time, I can't think of what we would need in addition to what we have. We just have to execute. And that's really for us to do. My charge as the Chief Academic Officer now is to empower myself where that needs to happen, to empower my team. But really the charge is clear. And everything that I need, we have. And my goal is to make sure that the principals have everything they need, and my team has everything they need to move forward. So at this time, the training, the support, the clarity, those things are there. We just have to execute. And that starts with, I believe, from Dr. Guri.
And one thing I'd like to add, and thank you so much for the question, because I will say this. I do think that I've sat in in a very similar situation from a transformational leadership seat before. However, every transformational situation is different, and this one is certainly unique because this is such a unique community. One thing I will tell you, though, Dr. Flowers, is that one of the great advantages is that every position, every time there's been a vacancy, and we've been fortunate, I would say, to have some vacancies. We lost some great people, but we've been fortunate to have those vacancies. And please know, this staff has been super intentional with those people that we bring on and what skill set they actually bring into the room. I also think we have been very intentional about reaching out to our neighbors who are showing success with communities that look like our community and really digging into those things that they're doing and trying to figure out how we can make that a reality for the children in our community. To tell you that we have everything would be probably not true, because there are some things that we probably don't know we even need. There's some, as we look at things that we need from a curriculum space, we have one large district that we're looking at that's certainly showing success, but they have a whole division that's on hand to modify and change curriculum. But how do we create that? So those are some of the spaces that we will continue to work in. One of my, I think it was a great strength is I don't have a problem with asking other people that are being successful. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. This has happened before, and we're going to continue to maximize that and also maximize those hiring opportunities to make sure that we are hiring the very best people to help us in this space.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I had one more. Who's the academic readiness team?
So the academic readiness team really speaks, and that's a team that I lead myself. A part of that team, you bring several people to the room. Of course, you have Dr. Nix and his teams. You have principal supervisors. You have our executive director of special education. You have our executive director of school improvement. You have our executive director of teaching and learning. So you also have our chief of staff who's there to ensure alignment with strategic plan. And you also have HR there who is playing a huge part in the conversation because of the current situation we have with limited certified teachers. The cool thing about this table is that as we look at data and we make decisions, everyone that affects data will be on one page, and that's the goal. And this meeting is happening in one room, and all the people who have the tools to remedy some of our issues are in that room. And I think that's that alignment piece that Dr. Nix speaks of, is ensuring that alignment is coming all the way through the organization.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any additional questions? So I like to say, I'm looking at the screen and I'm looking at all of these students that are shown. And what comes to mind is they're counting, they're dependent on us. And when we've got over 50% of our schools performing at a D and a F, I mean, y'all have a weighty responsibility. And it, there is accountability. I mean, we're talking about, lives and future livelihoods. So, I love the plan. We got to implement it, but we're going to be saying, show me progress. And we can't wait until this time next year. And I understand that there are these periodic screenings, but and I'm sure that there will be even further, but we can do better, and we have to do better. And so just do, like my grandmother say, just do your best. Just do your best to help, these students. And we can't be in this situation. We're so much better. And so I thank you all for, under Dr. Gorey's leadership, getting together to get a plan, but let's implement it and refine and show us the greatness and the champions, that we are. We need to see it, and most importantly, the students and our community need to see it. So thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Okay, so with that, I don't believe there are any citizen comments. And so, being that there are no further items to discuss, and we don't have any communications from citizens, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Thank you all, and thank you, staff and everyone, for attending and for all you do every day. You have our support fully, so thank you.